good. I got to remember that for home. All right. We are so excited to have everybody back in person for the SCV Chamber's 13th annual State of the County Luncheon. I know we've had some ups and downs and some backs and forths and some cancels and reschedules and all that, but I mean, hell, we're all still here, so that's good news. And we thank you for being here today as well. My name is John Musell. I'm with the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, and thank you again for joining us today. Of course, I would like to thank Supervisor Catherine Barger, our main speaker, for not only, she's going to get lots of applause today, I think, for not only being a great champion of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber, but our entire business community. She was such a tremendous resource and an amazing leader during COVID. And could you imagine what the first year of the pandemic could have looked like if Catherine Barger was not chair of the Board of Supervisors for us? I mean, she kept a realistic perspective and common sense thought that made all the difference in the world to businesses and people. So we thank you for all that you did. Before we begin our program, I want to invite up Nyasia Surgic, who's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Nyasia was selected as a nominee for the 2022 Boys and Girls Club Santa Clarita Valley Youth of the Year Award for her excellence in leadership skills and commitment to serving our community.
Good morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I do have to say, the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber has really come a long way in the last 4 years. We've successfully evolved to meet the needs of a modern business community, a diverse business community, and we have one of the most diverse boards of directors in the history, which accurately reflects the community in which we work. We've been called to action. We've called our members to action for 12 Impact SCV grassroots campaigns over the last 18 months, activating our membership to successfully influence public policy, including the effort to launch 4,000 emails to the Board of Supervisors to reopen LA County during the pandemic. And most recently, we became the first business organization in LA County to support the recall of LA County District Attorney George Gascon, because public safety is a priority for the business community, and we need someone as a district attorney who's going to put the interests of our business community and public safety above criminals. So thank you for all. I'd encourage you to sign that recall petition. So events today, like today, don't just provide access to the best LA County supervisor in the county, but her insights into what's happening across the region and to help support the Chamber's advocacy and education activities. And with that, I want to thank our supporters and today's sponsors. Title sponsor, UCLA Health. Gold sponsors, Athens Services, Vertec Waste Industries, California Institute of the Arts, Chiquita Canyon, City of Santa Clarita, 5 Point, Leaf Labs, North Lake, Tejon Ranch, The Highlands, Trammell Crow, Waste Management, and Williams Homes. For our silver sponsors, we want to thank Blackhall Studios, College of the Canyons, New Urban West, and Pool and Shaffery. Bronze sponsors, Agua Dulce Airport, AT&T, Kaiser Permanente, Logix Federal Credit Union, Next Home Real Estate Rockstars, Schlick Art Photography and Video, SCV Water, IBEW NECA, Southern California Gas Company, Southern California Edison. And our partner sponsors, Advanced Audiology, LBW Insurance and Financial Services, Vance Wealth. And thank you again to everyone for your continued support of the Santa Clarita Chamber and our pro-business advocacy and value-driven educational programming. I'd also like to thank SOS Entertainment and the Hyatt Regency for being part of our team today. And now on to a room full of dignitaries. So if you could join me in welcoming today our Los Angeles County Assessor, Jeff Prang, Santa Clarita City Mayor, Lorene West, Mayor Pro Tem Jason Gibbs, Council members Marcia McLean and Bill Miranda. From College of the Canyons Board of Trustees, we have Adele Alonzo, Michelle Jenkins, Joan McGregor. From the Hart School Board, we have Bob Jensen, Linda Storley, and Sharice Moore. From Saugus School District, Matt Watson. Representing Congressman Mike Garcia's office, we have Tammy Stevens. Representing State Senator Scott Wilk, Chris Huff. Representing Assemblywoman Suzette Valadares, Patsy Ayala. And of course, representing LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, we have Chief Deputy Anna Maradian, Field Deputy Stephanie English, Natalie Vartanian, and of course the entire team, too many to name, that are here today. Thank you for joining us and all the work you do for our county supervisor. And representing LA County Assessor Jeff Pring, Aldo Arellano. So we appreciate you all being here. As you know, membership in the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber matters, and we've been working here as a chamber in the community for nearly 100 years. Next year will be our centennial. And part of being an active business in the community is being part of our local chamber. And we bring businesses together to advocate, educate, and connect our members. And during the pandemic, your chamber never worked harder for you. We didn't hide or disappear. We were here working for you every single day because we valued our members and this business community. And we believed in you and believed that we could all make it through together. And with that, I'd like to share a quick video about why chamber membership matters.
As a member of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, you are part of a special group of business owners and professionals. Like anything in life or in business, joining isn't enough. It's the participation and showing up that makes the difference. We asked some of our loyal members to share their top 5 tips on how to make the most of your chamber membership. Here's what they had to say.
Be active, engaged, participate. People get to know you over time as a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Once they get to know you, they'll want to share business ideas and opportunities with you. Those are the people you'll want to do business as well, because you know them. It's personal. They're not just some face in the crowd or voice over the phone. You have a connection, a kind of bond. And there's trust that comes along with that. You will grow your business with this Chamber of Commerce.
Know your benefits. Your membership comes with a lot of different benefits, depending on the level of membership you joined at. Utilizing your benefits is the ultimate way to maximize your membership. Getting to know your benefits is getting to know the who's who in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Take advantage of the marketing and sponsorship opportunities. We are a proud corporate partner with the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber, and there's no better marketing than visibility for your company. For many small businesses, coverage is expensive and out of financial reach. If, however, you can sponsor any event with the Chamber, you can capitalize on the media presence and outreach for that event. The Chamber provides a platform for you to be knowledgeable and helpful while providing a way for your target audience to learn more about your business.
Build relationships. You can't do this alone. Everybody needs somebody. Building relationships is especially important. A relationship first starts with a conversation. Get to know the person, find out what their career is about and where they are going and how you can help each other's business. Forging partnerships and building bridges so you can benefit from each other and open up amazing opportunities.
Engage in educational opportunities. The Chamber offers numerous councils that allow you to find your connections and make an impact. They create a variety of programs that make doing business in the Santa Clarita Valley a rewarding experience. When you engage in the Chamber's value-driven member services and educational programs, you are being offered the platform to identify priorities and ensure your business voice is heard. The Chamber is here to improve survivability, sustain the existence of our businesses, and enhance economic development in the Santa Clarita Valley.
I'm Andrea Carpenter, Chief Operating Officer with Logix Federal Credit Union.
My name is Paul Butler, joint owner of New Leaf Training and Development.
I'm Becky Robb, Senior Director, Office Strategy and Administrative Operations for Princess Cruises and Holland America Group.
I'm Daniel Otto, chef and owner of the Old Town Junction.
I'm a member of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Happy member of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber.
Proud member of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce.
These are just a few ways that you can maximize your chamber membership. Remember, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out. To find out more about the SCV Chamber and how you can grow your involvement, reach out to us by emailing hello@scvchamber.com. The SCV Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business, where we empower businesses to thrive by being an invaluable resource for optimizing connections, resources, and education.
With that, if you are not a member of the Chamber, there's never been a better time to join. You can get online while you're having lunch here at scvchamber.com. And now I want to invite up one of our great Chamber members, the title sponsor for today, UCLA Health, being represented by Claudia Dunn Martinez. Claudia?
Good morning, everyone. Glad to see you, actually see you for the first time in quite a while. We're very excited to continue to be the title sponsor of the State of the County event, and we're glad it's here at the Hyatt, just like it was last time. I know we were going to be at Six Flags a while back, and that didn't work out, but you know what? It was meant to be, and we're just so happy to be here with everyone. You know, the pandemic was not the defining incident for our community. Rather, it became the circumstance to illustrate how the Santa Clarita Valley institutions have all rallied together and to support each other, to support our businesses, to support our educational institutions, our nonprofits, and healthcare, side by side with our friends and colleagues throughout the Santa Clarita Chamber of Commerce. It brings us together to inspire and collaborate now and into the future. We're delighted to be part of the Chamber and the fabric that makes up the Santa Clarita Valley, and we thank each of you for embracing UCLA Health in this community since we came here grew from here in 1995. From our first hematology oncology practices on the campus of Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital to establishing a complete cancer care and infusion center at our Turney Road offices, our new state-of-the-art radiation oncology center is offering groundbreaking treatment for cancer patients, and we're very proud of that. UCLA Health in Santa Clarita has grown to the point where you can see just about any primary care or specialty physician anywhere in our local offices and throughout Southern California. And a few of them actually have taken time out of their incredibly busy schedules to join us today, and I'd like to acknowledge them over here. If you would stand or raise your hand. Dr. Raman Baines, Dr. Giovanetza Hudson, Dr. Ramya Malchira, and Dr. Nimit Sudin. We thank all of you for your hard work. Thanks. What has been achieved and what is on the horizon would be actually impossible without support of all of you here today, and most especially the Chamber, of course, Supervisor Barger and Los Angeles County, as well as the City of Santa Clarita. We couldn't be prouder of the relationships here in Santa Clarita Valley and our efforts to come together as a community of first responders and innovators to meet our mission of providing the best in patient care, education, research, and community engagement. We're here for you, along with all of our healthcare partners, to help you get to the best healthcare that you possibly can. And we look forward to meeting with you and talking with you. And I'm just going to turn this back over to John, I think. And thank you all for being here. And we're really excited to be part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. We really appreciate you and UCLA Health and all of our frontline workers from over the last 2 years. So thank you for all you do for our community. One quick housekeeping note. If you notice, we have a single page program on your desk or on your tables there. If you use this QR code on the bottom corner there, you can actually get the full digital program. We are doing our part to save the environment and cut costs and printing costs, and so we want to do that, and so you'll be able to access the whole digital program online. And with that, it's now time to invite up to the front of the room a champion of ours and a great leader, our Los Angeles County Supervisor, Catherine Barger.
And I have an excuse to be like this because I had a board meeting yesterday that was from hell.
You all do not. So can I get like a little more excitement? Because I'm happy to be back. There we go. Okay, I feel better. I feel better. So good afternoon, everyone. I am honored, and I mean it, to join you all as we finally celebrate this long-awaited day in person. And I want to give a huge thank you to the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce for hosting me again and for all the great work you do throughout the year. I wanted to kick off today's program by recognizing some outstanding community partners, and I want you to know each honoree has made significant, and I emphasize significant, contributions throughout this pandemic. And I know there are so many others in this room who did their part too. Our community emerged stronger because of you. So I want to thank you, and I was going to take a pot shot against Dr. Ferrer, but I'll leave it alone. The first person that I want to bring up is, hold on one second. I'm going to recognize, okay, here we go. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a partnership with Six Flags Magic Mountain, led by President Don McCoy. When we needed, when we needed to get testing up and running, Don and his entire team at Magic Mountain were the first to volunteer their space. When we needed mass vaccination sites, they did not think twice about offering their parking lot, even when public health was creating obstacles trying to get you all back open. Magic Mountain is fully invested in this community. I saw it firsthand. I mean, you all do not know how fortunate you are to have a partner like Magic Mountain here in Santa Clarita Valley, or actually you do know, because many of your kids probably worked there during the summer and benefited from Magic Mountain being here. So I want to present a certificate of commendation to President Don McCoy as a token of my appreciation, and to your entire staff. And quite frankly, with all the stuff going on in the state, you even opened up Magic Mountain to the governor coming down to hold a press conference. I mean, you all, I cannot emphasize how incredible you were. So thank you. Okay, an amazing man. In case you can't tell, I'm a fan of Magic Mountain. I love roller coasters, so maybe that's part of it. Next, I'd like to recognize College of the Canyons, whose team has always been a fantastic partner to the county. Very early on, they also stepped up to answer the call during the COVID-19 crisis, and they opened up their parking lot as a testing site. When Magic Mountain needed to close their mass vaccination site, College of the Canyons stepped up once again and offered the space. I want to thank you to Dr. Diane Van Hook and her entire team at College of the Canyon for all the hard work and generous contributions. Thank you very much, Dr. Van Hook. And last, but certainly, definitely, no one puts Roger in the corner, not least, I'd like to thank Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital and all our healthcare workers who truly are the true heroes of this pandemic. Can we give all of them a round of applause? UCLA. Under the leadership of CEO Roger Seaver, Henry Mayo has gone above and beyond to provide the best care to patients. Like many hospitals in Los Angeles County, Henry Mayo suffered great financial losses and staffing shortages. However, they quickly adapted through the challenges to prioritize the health and safety of their patients. I am grateful for all our healthcare workers and hospital personnel
who worked bravely and tirelessly through long hours and stressful conditions when our healthcare systems were stretched to the limits. I want to thank you. My career with this man goes way back, and to be able to work with you up here is such an honor, and you are an incredible leader, and we are so appreciative to you and your entire staff. Thank you. All right, well, that is all I'm going to talk about now. I want you all to enjoy lunch, and then I will be back to give the state of the county. Thank you.
Thank you to the Hyatt and all the staff here. Thank you for a great lunch. We appreciate that. I have a couple quick housekeeping items really quick. Shh. Wow, it worked again. All right. A couple folks we want to make sure we introduced here before we jump into the rest of the program. From the Hart School District, we have James Webb. Where are you, James? There you are. We also have a member of the Los Angeles County Regional Planning Commission appointed by Supervisor Barger, Michael Hastings, with us as well today. And newly appointed Water Board member, Maria Gutzeit. And with that, we're going to continue with the program, and we've got a video to start off, and then we'll hear again from the supervisor. Enjoy.
In the Santa Clarita Valley, our community is back and better than ever. Business is booming as local shops have reopened their doors. In the face of the pandemic, Los Angeles County provided more than $99 million in grants through LA Regional COVID-19 Recovery Fund. Across the Santa Clarita Valley, businesses have welcomed back customers, and large manufacturing is thriving, among many other sectors. Families, friends, and neighbors are gathering again to enjoy Santa Clarita Valley traditions and activities. And as we return to our favorite places, we're reminded that the people around us really make this community special. Santa Clarita Valley residents of all ages are enjoying time spent together. Children are picking up their sports equipment and playing at local fields and parks again. Last summer, I awarded the Santa Clarita Valley Boys and Girls Club with a $140,000 grant from the 5th District's Los Angeles County Community Services Block Grant. This funding provided our youth with the opportunity to learn, play, and grow through a summer camp program tailor-made for them at Valverde Park. With the success of this program, and through an additional $500,000 community development block grant, the Santa Clarita Valley's Boys and Girls Club has now successfully opened a brand new clubhouse at Castaic Middle School, serving Castaic and Valverde. This program is thriving and continues to grow. Santa Clarita Valley Boys and Girls Club does exceptional work to uplift the next generation, and I am proud of our ongoing partnership. Our entire community has overcome so much since this time last year. The unity and collaboration of our community and nonprofit partners, the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Corporation, and the City Council helped us emerge stronger than before. The Santa Clarita Valley celebrated a major milestone with the grand opening of the brand new state-of-the-art Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station. The 46,000 square foot facility features a 911 dispatch center, emergency operations center, communications tower, helipad, and a vehicle maintenance facility, as well as enough space to house the entire team on site. Thank you to the City of Santa Clarita and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for making this project a reality as we work to serve the growing Santa Clarita Valley. The Sheriff's Department also recently celebrated the opening of their Emergency Vehicle Operations Center at Pitches Detention Center. This much-needed site will provide year-round vehicle training access to the fine men and women of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. All of our first responders deserve our thanks. I am extremely grateful for their hard work and sacrifices by the brave men and women of our Los Angeles County Fire Department. As one of the largest municipal fire departments in the nation, LA County Fire is responsible for serving more than 4 million residents with a jurisdiction of over 2,300 square miles. With 177 fire stations, 4,741 personnel, a fleet of 10 helicopters, and 9 fire suppression camps, LA County Fire Department continues to do an exemplary job protecting our communities. In the Santa Clarita Valley alone, our 15 fire stations responded to more than 21,000 calls for service in 2021. We've also made strides to serve those who need supportive services. Our community celebrated the groundbreaking of 2 new projects in the Santa Clarita Valley that will enhance services to uplift people experiencing homelessness in our community. Family Promise of Santa Clarita Valley's new resource center and housing units, and Bridge to Home's new permanent shelter and comprehensive homeless service facility both work toward this goal. Thank you to the City of Santa Clarita for donating both properties, and thank you to Family Promise and Bridge to Home for the incredible support you provide to our community every day. Together, we are making a real difference in the lives of those in need. As the sun sets on the last chapter, I can see the hope and opportunity are on the horizon. Fueled by determination, resilience, and excellence of our residents, developers, and businesses, the Santa Clarita Valley is poised to have one of the best years yet. Thank you for your collaboration and your commitment. Because we are working together, I know the very best is still to come.
Catherine Barger.
I was talking and I wasn't paying attention. First of all, let me just say I've been apologizing all day. My voice is about as good as you're going to get it. And as you can tell, I could never do crank phone calls growing up because they always knew who it was calling, making a joke, and I always got caught by my parents. But once again, good afternoon to all of you. And again, thank you to the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce for your leadership and really your great work. Los Angeles Business Journal just recently announced the nomination of both the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce and President and CEO Ivan Volshank for the 2022 Nonprofit and Corporate Citizenship Awards. Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations to Ivan and the Chamber for this terrific nomination. It is incredibly well-deserved. And thank you to the Chamber for also just becoming one of the first business organizations in LA County to support the Recall Gascon effort. Though State of the County was on hold for the last few years, and I really did want to do it at Magic Mountain, but another time, I was going to jump out of a box, and I really don't know what that meant. I gave it away. But you know my weight and my height, and if you do anything with it, I'll kill you. But all kidding aside, I am so happy to be back with you all, and actually in person. My time as chair of the Board of Supervisors in 2020 was undeniably met with challenges, but these difficulties shined a brighter light on the county's, really their role as a safety net for residents and a support system for businesses and organizations. From the beginning, I made it a priority to listen to the experts in the field and prioritize public health and safety to protect the most vulnerable to the virus. And I believe balancing these sometimes competing priorities has been a challenge. And some of my colleagues made it a challenge. And I pushed back against closures when they did not align with the science and the data. And when they were negatively impacting family life and businesses, I felt we needed to look at the science and the data. I created the Economic Resiliency Task Force, which is a working group comprised of business and community leaders to discuss the economic impacts of the pandemic and the county's reopening plans. We had great representatives from the Santa Clarita Valley on this task force. I'd like to thank Holly Schroeder, president of the Santa Clarita Valley Economic Development Corporation. She served on the Corporate and Manufacturing Task Force Working Group. And of course, Roger Seaver, CEO of Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital. He served on the Health and Bioscience Task Force Working Group. And of course, Ivan Volshank from the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce for serving on the Small Business Working Group. Let me just stop for a minute and say the reason why I did that is public health knows public health, but they couldn't run a business if their life depended upon it. And it's just a fact, not a criticism, a fact. So why wouldn't we put together all the industry leaders to tell us how we can apply the science to help them reopen? And that is why this task force was instrumental in giving me the roadmap moving forward on what needed to be done as we come out of this pandemic into an endemic. So I want to again thank you all for volunteering your time to make that happen. As we move forward with economic recovery, we will continue to proactively guide our community back to normal. It is important to identify the challenges we face so we can provide businesses and communities with the tools they need to succeed. It is no secret that Los Angeles County has seen a record number of permanent closures of small businesses. The Santa Clarita Valley EDC reported that 18.5% of local jobs were lost when safer at home orders were implemented. The impact to our valley's largest employers was severe, including Magic Mountain, Princess Cruises, who had to completely close operations and lost hundreds of jobs. The good news is the most of these jobs have been restored and employers are actively recruiting again. In addition, the EDC indicates that there's a very strong recovery in the supply of new homes and construction of industrial facilities. Again, I appreciate Holly Schroeder's success in drawing in businesses and the focus of the EDC team to pursue economic growth in the entire Santa Clarita Valley. In the most recent strategic plan for economic development, one goal was to be more business friendly. The report included several objectives, including cutting red tape, and quite frankly, much more, to speed up the processing of permits. The county must reduce regulatory bureaucratic barriers for small businesses applying for permits. Undoing years of bureaucracy is never easy, but I intend to make it happen. In addition to streamlining these processes for our small businesses, it is just as critical to reduce regulatory barriers for our developers to increase housing availability. Recently, many local developers came to me asking for a more robust county one-stop center in the Santa Clarita Valley. They noted that the existing one-stop center located in the Santa Clarita Valley Civic Center has limited services to meet their needs. These limitations create duplications of work and involve numerous trips to county offices. As a result of these concerns, I offered a motion in February to investigate how we can bring more robust development services to the Civic Center. I'm looking forward to that analysis, which should be made available to my office in upcoming weeks. We need to ensure the county has appropriate oversight of the development process while not adding months and sometimes years, right, Greg McWilliams, to the project timelines. There is an urgency to build more housing, and it is incumbent upon the county to drive the change needed to accomplish this. The Southern California Association of Governments recently noted that in the unincorporated communities of Los Angeles County, we must, per the state, accommodate more than 90,000 housing units to meet the demand, which is in addition to the new housing coming online by Five Point Valencia community. Since the Santa Clarita Valley has seen a tremendous amount of housing construction over the past 2 decades, the additional housing capacity needed will be focused on the urban basin. Thankfully, Santa Clarita is home to some of the best developers in the nation. As Five Point continues its progress to build a first-of-its-kind net zero project, I recognize the importance of smart, sustainable development to support new housing, infrastructure, and economic vitality. While we have a critical need for new housing, we're also seeing a strain on resources and public infrastructure. That is why I asked our departments to study the 5-point model to see how we can replicate their ingenuity and apply it more broadly to new development. Understanding that this needs to be first happening at scale size. While my colleague, Supervisor Sheila Kuehl, would like us to make this happen overnight, I see the value of understanding the financial impact of net zero development standards and encouraging them to become more broadly utilized before fully mandating them. We appreciate the hard work of our developers to provide beautiful homes for our residents, as well as their commitment to investing in resources for our most vulnerable populations. I am prioritizing economic development and growth in the Santa Clarita Valley, particularly in the unincorporated areas. The county is fortunate to have surplus land, including the 200-acre parcel at Honor Ranch in Castaic. We released a request for proposals in late 2021, and I think we all are looking forward to the results of this solicitation. This project could be a linchpin for providing a more robust economic landscape to Castaic and benefiting the entire Santa Clarita Valley. As we talk about development and the economic outlook of Los Angeles County, we must consider the future of our county budget. As a result of the pandemic, we saw an increase in the demand for county services, which significantly impacted our budget. In April, the Board of Supervisors approved a budget of $38.5 billion. Property tax revenues remained unchanged, and the assessor, and we'll stop right there, Jeff Prang is right there, our assessor. I don't want to get reassessed, so I had to introduce him. and our assessor reported an increase in the assessed value of properties throughout the county. And thankfully, gross domestic product and consumer spending are at pre-pandemic levels. In addition, the county received nearly $1 billion from the federal government. Santa Clarita, did you hear that? $1 billion. Where are you, Ken Striplin? He always pickpockets me, so I wanted to see if he was going to try to grab the $1 billion. Through the American Rescue Plan, which includes funding to support small businesses hit hard by the pandemic, homeless services, and affordable housing. We cannot talk about the budget without mentioning the rapid rates of inflation that are going to certainly impact budgetary decisions. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, the annual inflation rate for the United States was 8.5% for the year leading up to March 2022. This is the highest since December of 1981. While this presents many challenges and uncertainties in our upcoming budget, I remain committed to advocating for fiscal prudence and the need to fund and grow our reserves. Through these efforts, the county was able to fully restore its rainy day fund and ensure a 10% set aside. With all of this in mind, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the impact of our budgets on something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is public safety. Last month, our board approved the CEO's recommended budget, which includes $12 million to fund additional Sheriff's Academy classes, which ultimately, yeah, let's give that. And thank you, Captain Diaz, and your whole team, because you all have been feeling the fact that we need to hire more. So thank you to you, men and women. But these will ultimately provide more deputies in our streets. Law enforcement is under pressure like never before. We are seeing an increase in crime throughout the county, but I understand, Captain Diaz, that in the Santa Clarita Valley, we are maintaining low crime rates under your leadership. So I want to give you a round of applause. Just recently, Santa Clarita was ranked the 3rd safest city in America by smartasset.com. Thank you to all the deputies and all the personnel at Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station for keeping our community safe, and congratulations on this amazing achievement. In the past year, our valley also celebrated a great milestone with the opening of the brand new state-of-the-art Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, which you saw in the video. Thanks to our partnership with the city of Santa Clarita, and I can't think of better partners, the remarkable facility will continue to serve the growing needs and the population of our entire valley. I'd also like to thank and recognize the California Highway Patrol for being such great law enforcement partners in the county, and I just thank you. I want to thank Captain Ed Cruzy of the Newhall area office and your entire team for keeping our streets safe and improving the lives of Santa Clarita Valley residents. While I know there are many in this room who share my gratitude for law enforcement, the men and women keeping our community safe face a multitude of issues. Every day there's an outcry from advocates to defund the police. The safety of our communities is crucial, and never ever wonder, my commitment to supporting law enforcement will never waver. The nexus between public safety and restorative justice are not mutually exclusive. You can achieve both goals. Per the recommendations of the JFA Institute and the Department of Justice, we must create more mental health beds and provide comprehensive treatment for those suffering from mental illness in our jails in order to fix overcrowding. We're working with the jail closure implementation team to ensure that when Men's Central Jail is closed, which it needs to be closed, we have secure operations that put public safety and accountability at the forefront. I remain committed to providing more funding that will expand our mental health evaluation teams and our homeless outreach teams through the Sheriff's Department. Mental evaluation teams are an invaluable asset to provide intervention and diffuse potentially violent situations while providing essential care for those who suffer from mental illness. As we talk about jails, we cannot forget, well, yeah, that is a good one. I agree. Our board's recent decision on the future of Camp Scott in Saugus. Has anyone heard about that? Yeah. Like you, I am very disappointed by the recent designation of Camp Scott as one of the site selections for permanent secure housing for juvenile justice youth. And I can assure you that I will continue to demand full transparency for any plans made to Camp Scott, with any proposals made being immediately available for evaluation, feasibility, safety, and community input. And I just like to say on that, we have experts that disagree with my colleague's recommendation on Camp Scott. So my question is, either we let our high-paid professionals do their job, or collapse government and just make it be about what politically needs to be done. And if that happens, God help us all. So I will continue to fight for what is right. And it's not about NIMBY, it's about putting these young men where they need to be safe and secure for both them and the community. As we touch on public safety, I'd like to take a moment to thank the brave men and women of our Los Angeles County Fire Department who continue to provide a level of fire protection. Yeah. They provide fire protection and life-saving service in the county. And I'd like to publicly thank Interim Fire Chief Anthony Maroney for his successful leadership earlier this year while temporarily filling in for Chief Osby. In addition, Tony Maroney. In addition, I'd like to recognize Deputy Fire Chief John O'Brien and Assistant Fire Chief Nick Burkata for their leadership in many of my 5th District communities. And I know John had to leave, but I know you're here, so thank you. Oh, there he is. Thank you. The fire department has been a crucial partner in rolling out our vision for community safety. One of these efforts was a motion I authored to prohibit homeless encampments within unincorporated areas that are highly susceptible to fire danger. Thank you to Chief Burkata for the map he provided for critical information that helped us get there. The Santa Clarita Valley is no stranger to the devastation of fires, and we cannot risk the loss of life and property. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge the hard work of the Sheriff's Department's Homeless Outreach Services team, also known as HOST, for their leadership and effort. We must remain vigilant with all our public safety partners as it relates to the impact of homelessness on our communities. Homelessness has become the most visible crisis our county is facing. The citizens of Los Angeles County deserve better than the status quo and what we've seen. But more importantly, the individuals who are languishing on our streets deserve better. Residents have expressed their commitment to address the homelessness crisis as evidenced by the passage of Measure H in 2017. This quarter-cent sales tax was overwhelmingly supported by voters to direct funding toward homelessness services. We have seen since then how important it is to hold our homeless service systems accountable to ensure we are good stewards of our taxpayers' money. That's why I established the Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness, because I've been greatly concerned with the lack of accountability in our homeless services system. We need to do better, so I tasked the commission to analyze and review Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, known as LAHSA. LAHSA was established nearly 30 years ago and has been operating on the same governance model since. It's time for LAHSA to undergo changes so that we can be better equipped to serve our communities and individuals experiencing homelessness. Over the past 6 months, representatives from the city service providers, businesses, and communities have engaged with the commission to share their perspective on the homelessness crisis. To the City of Santa Clarita and those who participated in this commission, I want to thank you for using your voice. It made a difference. The commission's final report was issued on March 31st, where they delivered 7 key recommendations which highlighted the need for transparency and, think about it, local solutions. Yesterday, the Board of Supervisors approved my motion to adopt the commission's recommendation and work on phased implementation. One of the recommendations is to create a new county entity specifically charged with tackling homelessness. This isn't about creating more bureaucracy, but it's creating accountability and transparency, which is not in place now. Everyone blames everyone else. Now, this board's going to have skin in the game because the buck is going to stop with us. The commission also illuminated what we've known all along. Homelessness is both a local and a regional issue. So another key recommendation is to create a local solution fund that will be funded through Measure H, which we can utilize to partner with our cities that are ready to implement their own homeless housing and service plans. Hunt, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. Flexibility is going to be critical in establishing this local solutions fund, and we cannot solve homelessness with a one-size-fits-all approach. Our cities will also play an active, collaborative role in determining the future of Measure H strategies, something that the cities were left out, all but City of LA. All the other 87 cities were really silent on this because they were not invited to the table. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but thanks to the work completed by the Blue Ribbon Commission, we now have a roadmap to move us forward. I look forward to continuing to work with the City of Santa Clarita and your community on solutions that make sense locally. I am dedicated to funding essential and wraparound services such as mental health and substance abuse programs to accompany housing solutions. And I'm proud of our work with the City of Santa Clarita and Bridge to Home to provide holistic help to those in need. Through Measure H dollars, Los Angeles County has supported the new permanent Bridge to Home shelter on Drayton Street with an additional $3.1 million. With the contributions of the city and community partners who have already donated to the capital campaign, we are well on our way to have an amazing new facility with housing and programming on site. And I just want to say on that, for everyone down below that says Camp Scott is about NIMBY, I think you're one of the first cities to step up and say we're going to build a homeless shelter in our community. So if that's NIMBY, bring it on. It really... In addition to building new shelters, we've gotten creative by using existing spaces to provide temporary housing. Over the last 2 years, California implemented Project Roomkey to provide housing in motels for those who are highly vulnerable due to their age and underlying health conditions. We appreciate, once again, the partnership Bridge to Home to assist with the operations and staffing of our Project Roomkey site in Santa Clarita. While the location has been decompressed, the new Project Roomkey effort will allow us to purchase motels, provide housing long-term. Housing is a critical issue, and local collaboration is not only important, it's vital. The county must continue to do its part to create additional housing, including affordable housing. But as I said, we cannot address all our homeless issues with just housing alone. We have to get to the root cause, especially regarding mental health. I've been collaborating with the state representatives to fund mental health outreach teams. Additionally, we are working on state legislation that it would empower the county to intervene for those who suffer from mental illness on our streets. Current state law makes it nearly impossible for the county to provide involuntary services to those that need it. Hundreds of individuals across the county are dying every year, and thousands more are suffering every day because they cannot care for themselves and their basic needs. At the federal level, we are pushing legislation that would make it easier for counties to expand mental health beds. This legislation would eliminate the existing red tape that limits how efficiently mental health facilities can be built. Changing these regulations is critical to how we address mental health in Los Angeles County. And I know there is a great need for additional mental health beds in the Santa Clarita Valley. And I want to credit Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital for their investment in these services. We are facing a statewide shortage of mental health professionals, and this is making it challenging to scale up the critical frontline roles that provide services to those most in need. In response, I have dedicated and directed our Department of Mental Health to implement innovative recruitment and retention incentives to ensure we have the necessary staff to respond to the needs of our communities. Right now, we're all competing for the same people, and I think that Roger Stevens would agree. There's not a large workforce out there to pull from right now. Last month, I co-authored a motion to support legislation that will implement 988, the Suicide Prevention Emergency Lifeline. 988 is effectively a complementary system to 911 that will dispatch unarmed mental health professionals instead of sworn law enforcement officers to assist people in crisis and provide them with a safe place to get care they need. Our mental health goals go beyond people in crisis. They expand to everyday families. The pandemic surely definitely did highlight the importance of mental health, particularly for our youth, and will continue to be a priority of mine as we continue to move forward. Now, as I wrap up, because I want to take questions, and I'm sure one of them will be about masks, I want to thank you for joining this afternoon. I really am grateful for the continued partnership between my office and Stephanie English. I don't know where you are, you're probably hiding. But my office and Natalie, Natalie's over here. Would Santa Cruz office all stand up? Yep. They came to work every day through the pandemic. Well, we had a don't tell Ferrari. We did kind of make it a blended thing. But bottom line is, we were here, but they truly are a reflection of the incredible public service that we have in our office. So I want to thank you all very much. With that, I want to leave some time for questions, but I again want to thank you for your friendship. I consider many of you my friends in this room, but also for the collaboration, and I'm confident we've got great things ahead of us. So with that, are we going to take some questions?
Yes, we are.
Oh,
so we've
Lord.
got two mics in the room.
Okay.
We are going to defer to Mayor Lorene West for the first question. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Supervisor. And we are so proud to have you here in the Santa Clarita Valley, as you always are available when we need you. I want to do a personal thank you from the City of Santa Clarita for your incredible leadership, getting us support where we need it. But on the Camp Scott issue, thank you for taking a hard stand and voting for let's find a safe place for the prisoners that would be incarcerated, as well as keeping our residents safe. That was a very important thing to do. And will be ever vigilant on that issue. We stand firmly with you to get done the right thing. The second thing I want to say, very important move on the homeless situation. We have supported our homeless. We have bought land for the new facility. And we see that almost $27 million has gone out of this community from Measure H, and about 10 or 15% has come back. Your move to bring that into a new organization where we can outreach with 87 cities and get the funds where they need to be, so critical, and we applaud that effort, and we thank you for it, and we will continue to work with you. So, Supervisor, we're proud to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. John?
Hunt had a question for you.
Supervisor Barger, thank you for your comments on Camp Scott. I want everyone here to understand that these are just not juveniles. They're serious offenders, rapists, and even murderers. They do not belong in the area where the county wants to put it. Appreciate your opposition, appreciate the city's lawsuit. And so on behalf of the business community, what can we do to continue to support your efforts in trying to have that decision changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Hunt. And let me just say that my recommendation for Barry Neidorf was based on the experts we hired, who earned collectively probably close to $750,000 to make recommendations to the board. The recommendation that was made to the board was based on a group of community, organizers that have been appointed to a commission that want to completely collapse our probation system and get rid of all the camps. And so you are right. The individuals we have in there, and I believe in redemption. All right, I truly do believe people deserve a second chance. And that is really what the goal is for this new compound, because the state's been very prescriptive on how we are going to build it. And that's why I felt Barry Neidorf was the appropriate place to do it. Continue to use your voices. When you called in, that made a difference. It probably accelerated some of the decision-making process. People started to get nervous because COVID, and I don't think it's unique to LA County, I think it's government in general, allowed things to take place pretty quickly under the radar. And by the calls that came in, they knew people were watching. So keep using your voice, keep writing in, keep calling into the board. And the city of Santa Clarita, is doing what they're going to do, and they have a right to do it. And so support the city of Santa Clarita in their efforts to do this. And again, it's because the experts say that is not the appropriate placement. It is not. And Malibu now is pushing back on Kilpatrick. And they don't, because it's not a safe environment for the level of children and young adults that we have in that system.
Supervisor, I would like to stay on the public safety realm. You touched on Santa Clarita being one of the safest cities in the nation, as well as some recent budget wins to hire more sheriffs, which is great. But we know holistically there's a challenge both in California and as a nation pushing back on law enforcement and budgets. How would you deal with that to continue to support the public safety and law enforcement that we need to keep our cities safe?
So, my mom used to say I feel vindicated, and I'm now quoting my mother, I feel vindicated, because if you look at the poll done for the LA City Mayor's race, you know what the top 3 issues are? Public safety, homelessness, and housing. 3 issues that I'm focused on, while everyone else is looking at defunding law enforcement, getting rid of probation altogether, because these kids are misunderstood. The vocal minority took over, but I can tell you that with crime up, and you turn on the news, and when it hits the west side and it hits Melrose, people are not happy. So when you talk about the lack of support for law, I think you're seeing that change, because even amongst the mayoral candidates, they all talk about how they're not going to defund, they're going to actually, in some cases, add more law enforcement. The sheriff and I have been known to have disagreements once in a while, but we agree that now more than ever, LA sheriffs need to be provided with the resources to backfill on the vacancies and also actually enhance in areas, especially unincorporated. So you're going to see that happen, and maybe it happens during elections. But I think we need to hold people accountable that we put in office, because if your community is not safe, that's quality of life. You want to be able to drive down your street and not worry about getting shot. When I drive home at night on the freeway, I'm very much aware of my surroundings now. Probably should have been before, but I'm more so now. So I think law enforcement is far more supported than people realize. And come June, we're going to have a different board of supervisors. And if things go the way I hope they do, we'll have the votes to continue to support law enforcement in a way that reflects what the communities expect.
Supervisor, we've been told we have time for one more question.
Thank you, Supervisor. Right over here.
Oh, thanks.
Supervisor Barker, thank you for establishing the Blue Ribbon Commission on Homelessness. and continuing to work in our county to find solutions to this crisis. Can you illuminate a timeline on and maybe share some of the innovative programs you'll expect out of these new funds and programming for our county, for our valley specifically?
Yeah, so the first thing, and I always say this, I'm not pushing creating a new department, but if you pull articles over the last 2 or 3 years, LAHSA blames the city and the county, including me, blames LAHSA. The city blames the county, and sometimes LAHSA, the city being the city of LA. There's no accountability whatsoever. Meanwhile, we have almost $400 million coming in on Measure H dollars, and the number of homeless on the street is growing. So money right now is not our problem. It's accountability. So the first thing will be to create an entity, department, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be accountable directly to the board. So there's no middle person to say, well, I didn't know. The buck is going to stop with us. It's also going to give flexibility to the cities to actually have a seat at the table. When you look at how much Measure H dollar comes in from different cities and how much they get back, it would make you gasp. I think Burbank, I had to correct them. They said they contributed $8 million. I said, try $21 million. You know how much money they got back? About $750,000. And yet their need in Burbank may not be, 30,000 like LA City, but it may be 1,500, but that's 1,500 people they want to help. They may not get dollar for dollar, but they should get something. So the second thing is going to be to actually allow the cities to be at the table when we make the recommendations on how this money is spent, which right now they're not. So we dictate, here's how we're going to spend the money. If you don't want to do it, you don't get the money. It's got to be a local process. So that's the second thing it'll do. And then data. How many businesses look at their sheets each month to see how they're doing and what's selling, so they can make sure they stock up on what's selling, and what's not selling, rethink whether they want to buy it again. We have no data collection to tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. I mean, I can guess, but I want to have at least the data to support what I'm thinking is not working. So we're going to begin to share data and take a look at it, among other things. And to me, we should have done this a year ago. It was a 3-2 vote, which means that I got to keep my eye on this very closely, because with 3-2 means there are 2 that didn't want it and really didn't want it. And so I want to get this in place as soon as possible.
And Supervisor, one more question. Center of the room.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman Marsha McLean, I don't know if people understand the time that you put into the Blue Ribbon Commission and the time that was put in by the local cities who called in. I mean, I called in and
You did.
Yes, I did. And I was able to call in, and the whole thing was that cities understood that they needed to have the money come back. I mean, we have our homelessness task force made up of nonprofits. And so I want to thank you for that. I know how hard it was for you to get the vote yesterday, and we appreciate you very much. You are such a great advocate for the 5th District. I also want to thank you for Camp Scott, and I have one more thing to mention. I happen to have petitions for the Recall Gascon. If anyone in this room hasn't signed it yet, I'll stick around so you can sign the petition. And thank you for all you do for us. Thank you so much.
There you go. Thank you, Marsha. And Marsha did participate. But in closing, I know that no more questions, but I'm going to say this. I'm surprised someone didn't ask about masks, okay? My biggest frustration over COVID has been the inconsistency and the contradictions that are coming out. No masks are needed, and then 3 days later, masks are needed. What I will tell people is the virus is still in the community. I don't know how the hospitalization is up here, Roger, but it's still in the community, but it's not to the degree that it was. This variant is not like it was with the Delta and actually the original. So use common sense. If you feel comfortable wearing a mask, wear it. And now, she has mandated it for schools.
she being Dr. Farrar, and on public transit. But I would just encourage you all to use common sense, and I will continue to fight for common sense downtown. And sometimes common sense and politics don't seem to go hand in hand, unfortunately. But just use your common sense, and please be careful. And if you're not vaccinated and you really are on the fence, I just got my fourth, my second booster, and I'm alive. That may be why my voice is like this now that I think about it. But you know, just please take care of yourselves. And so with that, I want to thank you for being here today. I just got that is one right away. I don't know.
Well, Supervisor, as a small token of our gratitude and thanks, we have a little something for you to take back to the office with you to enjoy. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. We appreciate you being here. Have a good day.